Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another story time with Pastor Elaine. We're still making our way through our book, The Parables of Jesus. And today we've got another one of those wonderful stories from Luke's Gospel. This is in the 10th chapter, and it's called The Parable of the Good Samaritan. Down here, we've got a superhero. It says, "I'm here to save all of you." Maybe that'll make a little sense after we hear our story. So we begin over here. In the Bible, it says, "Love your neighbor as yourself." But who is our neighbor? Jesus, who was asked this question, answered with a story. A man was walking from Jerusalem to Jericho. On the way there, he was attacked by bandits who stole everything he had and beat him. Then they left him there, half dead. A priest passed by. He saw the man, avoided him, and continued on his way. A servant of the temple passed by. He saw the man. He also avoided him and continued on his way. A third man then came along. He was a traveler from Samaria, a Samaritan. When he saw the man, he was moved with pity. He went up to him and treated his wounds with oil and wine. Then he put him onto his donkey. He took him to an inn and watched over him. The next day he gave 2 silver coins to the innkeeper, saying, "Take care of him, and if you spend more money, I will repay you upon my return." When Jesus finished his story, he turned to the man who questioned him and asked, "In your opinion, who of these 3 travelers was the victim's neighbor?" The man answered, "The one who had pity." Jesus then said, "Go and do as he did." And you can see here, this is the person who's lying by the side of the road who got beaten up. Here's the Samaritan with his donkey helping. Here's the priest and the servant of the temple just passing on by. And here it says, with this parable, Jesus speaks to us about how we should love our neighbor. This one's got a heart carrying over her shoulder. A shocking story. At the time of Jesus, the Jews of Judea and Galilee hated the Samaritans because they believed they were unfaithful to God. But the Jews greatly admired the priests and servants of the temple. This story, where a Samaritan is the good guy and the religious men are the bad guys, was very shocking to them. This says, a thorny situation. In this story, the priest and the servant of the temple followed Jewish law very carefully. According to the law, if they touched a dead man, they would be unclean for 7 days. In order not to break the law, they avoided the man lying on the ground because they believed he was almost dead. Plus, it was a place full of bandits, and they could have been attacked too. The situation was doubly dangerous. And here this person is saying, do you want me to help you, when this person fell into this hole and is saying, "Help, help, SOS." And over here we have what looks like a monkey in a cage saying, "Help." And this girl is saying, "But I don't know you." So anyways, listen to your heart. When the Samaritan saw this man in distress, he wanted to help him. Listening to his heart, he ignored the law and his fear of bandits. Through this story, Jesus said that obeying the law or religious rules should never hold us back from really loving with the generosity, courage, and freedom of the Samaritan. I think it's helpful, since we can't really understand the way the Samaritans and the Jews in Jesus' time, we can't really understand that conflict. So imagine someone who is an outsider to you, someone who you maybe you don't know much about or you're afraid of, and imagine that person, whoever that is the one who stops and helps, someone you would not have expected to. Whereas you would expect someone like me, a priest, to stop and help someone who was hurt along the road. So imagine that I'm the one who just kept walking by and said, "Nope, not going to get my hands dirty." Whereas somebody else, somebody that you would never expect to do it, is the one who stopped to help. What Jesus is really saying is that we are all neighbors of one another, and that when one of us needs help, that's what we're to do. We are to be a good neighbor. The person who asked the question of Jesus about who is my neighbor was kind of trying to trick Jesus, as if saying, well, the neighbor is the person who lives next door to you, who lives in your building, or who lives in your town. But that's not it at all. A neighbor is anyone that you encounter, and we're to show God's love to those neighbors. So I hope you enjoyed this story. And we're getting close to the end of our parables book, so I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to read next time. Take good care, everyone.